Let's upcycle some Dollar Tree pumpkins. For the first project, I'm going to take one of the foam pumpkins and a plastic spoon with a rounded handle. I'm going to use the handle to make dimples on the surface of the pumpkin. I'm going to press firmly and give a little twist, but not too firmly, otherwise you risk making holes in the pumpkin. And then I'll continue to do this all over the surface of the pumpkin. To upgrade the stem, I'm going to use this tiny plastic gourd from these smaller Dollar Tree pumpkins, and we'll be using the pumpkin itself later in this video. Next, I'm going to paint both the pumpkin and the stem with this metallic craft paint in the color Antique Copper. As I am painting, I am making sure to paint all the dimples and crevices. And then after 2 coats, this is what it looks like. I also went ahead and painted the plastic berries and leaves from the small pumpkin with the same paint, and glued those to the top using some hot glue. And then here's how it all came together with a final look similar to the hammered copper pumpkins sold at stores like Hobby Lobby and elsewhere. For the next project, I'm again going to use one of the foam pumpkins, and then look what Dollar Tree had, an adorable gnome stocking. So guess what our next pumpkin is going to be. I started by disassembling the stocking, and the beard came off pretty easily by just gently pulling it apart and using scissors where needed, but being careful not to cut the fabric. Next, I wanted to remove that red snowflake trim, and so I used some scissors to snip the threads where it was attached to the stocking, and then gently pulled the 2 pieces of material apart. I then went back and cleaned up any of the remaining glue by pulling it gently off the surface of the stocking, and again using scissors where needed, but being careful not to cut the stocking. I want to keep it in good shape because I will be using it to make the gnome's hat, and I did that by drawing 2 lines with a pencil to form a triangle, then used scissors to cut it out. I then flipped it inside out and used hot glue to seal the edges. After making sure I didn't miss any spots with the glue, I went ahead and turned the hat back right side out. Since the beard is a little large for the pumpkin, I did have to trim it down by about a ½ inch on both sides and about 1 inch on the bottom. However, by cutting the beard, I did give it more of a harder edge than I wanted. So in order to gain that more wispy, gnome-like beard, I pulled back the hairs and trimmed the white fabric from the underside, then fluffed the hair for that less manicured look. To tone down the bright orange of the Dollar Tree pumpkin, I did paint it with some Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin. To make the gnome's boots, I clipped off the toe of the stocking and then cut it in half. I then rounded each piece into more of a boot-like shape. I again turned them inside out, sealed the edges with hot glue, and then flipped them back right side out. I then took rolled up pieces of the snowflake red trim cut off the stocking earlier to stuff the boots. Now it's time to put this little cutie together by first gluing on the beard and then gluing on the boots to the underside of the pumpkin. Before gluing on the hat, I did stuff it with what was remaining from the stocking and then some additional stuffing. After putting the hat on the pumpkin and adjusting it to just the right position, I used some hot glue to attach it to both sides. To decorate the gnome's hat, I took these little felt leaf cutouts from Dollar Tree, and what's neat about these is that the insides actually pop out, and so they create these kind of little wispy pieces that are great accents. And then I'm also going to be using those pieces that I cut off from the beard to create a little pom-pom on the top of his hat. And then here he is all finished, our cute little Dollar Tree pumpkin gnome. And now here's another quick and easy foam pumpkin makeover, this time using a white pumpkin form, but you can use any color here as I will be covering the entire pumpkin with glued on cotton balls. As you can see, I just applied some glue to the side of the pumpkin, and then I'm just taking cotton balls and putting them on. You can see here where I'm kind of doing 1 in the skinnier portions and then 2 in the wider portions. And then this is what the pumpkin looks like once it has been covered in the cotton balls. From here, I'm going to take some fabric and wrap the pumpkin, creating a puffy fabric pumpkin. The Crafter Square fabrics from Dollar Tree make a great option, but also other items like this fall dish towel I had and also an old shirt would also work great here. I'm going to go ahead and use the Dollar Tree Crafter Square piece of material to show you how perfectly sized they are for this project. So all I'm doing here is taking the fabric and pulling it up and over the cotton balls, pulling it nice and tight, and then stuffing it into a hole created in the center of the pumpkin. The Dollar Tree fabric is cute, but I liked the dish towel better because it goes better with my colors. And so I rewrapped the pumpkin and then just added a tree branch for the stem. I then added some rope to accent the seams of the pumpkin, then wrapped it around the base of the stem and glued it there. And then there you have it, all cute and cozy for fall, and oh so quick, easy, and inexpensive to make. And now here is a black pumpkin example. But again, this can be done with any of the pumpkin colors, and it again entails wrapping fabric, but this time with fabric that would be an overlay like lace or crochet. This item here is part of an old crochet shirt, but stockings and other such fabrics work great here. If not doing an overlay, I do prefer to paint the pumpkins, and so the one here on the right is painted and the one here on the left is not. It just gives it a better finish, and it does help if you have any little nicks and gashes in it that you can paint over. So after painting my black pumpkin black, I took some of this Just yarn from Dollar Tree. This is the one that's the eyelash variety. And I'm going to wrap it around the pumpkin just in the seams just to highlight and accent those. And then I'll just glue along the bottom. And then instead of adding a stem, I'm going to top it with this adorable ceramic polka dot pumpkin from Dollar Tree. And then to add a little more drama, I'm going to glue it on top of this Dollar Tree candlestick that I've painted black. And then they all come together to create this elegant but whimsical Halloween decor piece. For this next project, I want the pumpkin to have more of a terracotta finish, so I'm going to go ahead and mix it with equal parts of paint and spackle. And then here you can see how that paint mixture creates this wonderful texturized finish. You could at this point put a stem in it and make it a project in its own right. However, I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm going to make a pretty pumpkin stand for this votive candle. I'm going to decorate it using these beautiful fall stems. To assemble the florals, I just took pieces of larger fall items, like this spray of berries that was part of a larger plant, and I just wrapped that around the bottom of the votive, and then I just took little pieces of other items from different fall sprays and cut them down into smaller pieces, and then just began hot gluing them into place on the berry ring. Next, I cut down a larger fall leaf into smaller pieces and then just ring them around the top of the pumpkin. Then I took the votive and using some E6000 glue, I glued that to the top of the pumpkin. And then there you have a festive fall piece that'll take you straight through to Thanksgiving. And then as promised, I just wanted to finish up with those smaller pumpkins whose tops we used earlier and just bring out these cute little Halloween socks. And the two of these work great as a combination. I just cut off the heels, as you can see, of the socks, and then you can just pull them right over the top of these tiny pumpkins and glue them down into place. For the top, I glued one side, then the other side, and then front and back. I painted the stems from the previous foam pumpkins black to use with these. And then here's a pic of these two Halloween cuties all assembled. But if you can't find the Halloween socks, fear not. Dollar Tree also had these beautiful purple sweater type socks, and Walmart had these orange ones along with many other colors. And don't forget, sleeves from an old sweater also make a great option. And then here you can see the orange sweater sock with a twig for a stem. And then for the sweater sleeve, I just cut it down and I'm going to use the bigger foam pumpkin here. And I am using the white one because it is a white sweater sleeve. Then with the hole in the top, I'm just going to poke that sweater fabric right into the hole. Then I grabbed another twig for the stem. And then here they are together, so darn cute. They could be further decorated from here or left as is.